Today we're going to show the assembly of a 5570 4-panel 4-track impact rated product. Great care should be taken in unwrapping the product as to not scratch the pre-painted frame materials. We'll then stack the product out, orienting the track in the proper direction. One way to tell if your track is in the right direction is the small lead-in chamfer on the outside of the frame that accepts a box screen frame. Great care should also be taken in unwrapping the metal components and pre-painted track covers, as they can scratch easily. This door will be assembled on flange, so we will show you the preferred procedure to slide in the flanges. Remove the cleat bolts or back them out slightly in order to slide in the flange. Positioning the flange outbound with the L-shaped bracket going down, slide into the receiver into the track. Okay. Repeat the process for the side legs. Now slide in the roller track guides one at a time. Take notice that they do not stick past the tracks. If they do, they will need to be trimmed a little bit. The hardware pack should provide all of the essential hardware needed to do the assembly. And put beads on there and here, yeah. And then all the way down that.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, care should be taken in the alignment and assembly.
Let me have it for a second. Good, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Making sure that the unit is fairly square before you start the screws. And we usually start the screws by hand in order to find the proper alignment. Care should be taken not to over tighten the screws as to break the frame slots. And repeat the process for the rest of the corners. Installation of the dust plugs is much easier when the track is on the ground. We basically put them in line with the screws, which represents the mating point of the two panels. We will now show the bottom assembly of the bottom track and jam leg. Special care should be taken in applying sealant to both the jam leg and the sill. It helps in the long-term sealing of the unit to fill the webbing at the bottom of the sill with sealant, creating a sealant block. Installation of the open cell foam pads as well may be easier in this position. They aid in the water draining and keeping out insects. In lifting the frame up, it's very important to keep the frame square and lift evenly as to not jar the corners or break the bond of the sealant.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Apply 3 parallel beads along the entire length of the sill to secure the frame to the substrate. So also you want to project a bead about 6 or 8 inches up on the back side of the frame for air and moisture infiltration. And also up this side. This unit is a 5570 and it's being installed on a sealing fin or flange. We will caulk the flange in, and that's what I'm going to show now. And this is really just temporary till we can get it square. So we'll want to check for plumb and square.
All right, I'll see you.
Get the track in place temporarily, plumb and square. We want to string line the bottom track before we secure it, and then we'll work our way up to the header and we'll string line that. Check square again and make sure the door's 100%. You can use it as a good guide. There you go.
Yeah, that's it right there.
I know we got, we have those.
Yeah, but we don't pull off the
We're just doing this so we can set the top elevation, keep it straight. It's just a little low here.
Good. There's one there. There's one.
I think actually.
Inspecting the track for level, plumb, and square. It's time to fill in the screw holes through the sill track, and we do it like this.
Even on the small doors, there's just one track cover.
Ready to see the head of this thing?
Yeah, I want to do like we do when we screw it where we want it and then shim down right
Are you putting screws in your shim?
where I.
Installation of the outer sill cover or sill nose cover.
Outer sill cover.
Outer sill cover. If there's not a threshold support under the door, take care in tapping this on and supporting it while you tap it on. I like to go ahead and set them at the top and bottom. Now I've intentionally left out the track cover where the lock strike plate goes. When the doors are in set, then we'll adjust and install that. The ones for the jam legs are pre-cut. They will be the shortest ones typically. So you'll want to use those first for the jam legs and then trim the longer pieces of track cover for the upper and the remaining covers. So on installation of the panel, the storm cleat or locking cleat has to fit in a space that's mortised out in the door, approximately right here. A good way to do that is to put your foot on the track. That's about the distance that it needs to be over, and that'll guide the door in. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3.
Don't get it over there.
Okay. Slide it over. Check for the reveal. It looks really good already, but we need to lift this up a little bit. So if you'll lift this. Use only a hand drive so you don't strip anything out.
And relieve pressure on the panel.
And lift panel, okay? And set it down. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them both up just a little bit first. All right, let's go ahead and lift this
I'm
one.
gonna switch to the inside.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. All right, let's try that. I'm gonna come back up on just the back a hair. I like to get it up off the track anyways. This is the wrong, anyway, go ahead.
Ready?
Yep.
That's all I can give you.
All right, there you go. So once you test it to fit, then bring it back on the other side of the locking cleat so that the interlocks won't hit each other and you can mate them together properly. Okay. I'm gonna do 4 rotations.
Got about a 1/4 inch bite.
I'm looking pretty, 1/4 inch bite. Okay, let's do more then. All right, you ready? So that was 7 turns. There you go. So we'll do the same over here.
Okay, now you got about a half. That's pretty good there. All right, say when.
Lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now we'll check it to the other panel. So what we're looking at is we want to try to parallel each panel to each other. So with the number 1 panel slid into the track, which is square and plumb and level, then we can bring panel 2 and look at the reveal either on the stop or the weather stripping or the inside interlock and line it up with the other interlock to make sure that it mates together very cleanly. And so I'm seeing a very even reveal on the weather stripping. Looks pretty good. If anything, this corner needs to come up just a hair.
In your track covers for your lock mechanism, pull 42.5. You'll match the 42.5-inch mark to the edge of this part of the stripe where the tongues will go in. Just double check it. You're going to do a little pre-drill in here because there's a metal stiffening bar behind this, so you can get the screws through.
We were just trying to get him off the fucking while we were in the middle of the street. Whoa, I got that.
You gotta get the suction. Get out from in between them. Lean it against the wall. So you can get
In your track covers. All right, the handle screws are usually the ones in the bag. They're a little bit longer, 1/4 inch longer. They send foam spacer pads as well. Or cork. What I like to do is put them on the door around the holes here and here and on the outside as well. Thumb lock comes with the handle set inside the handle bag in here. You can see it right there. Do not use these screws. The screws you want to use for the handle set are in the hardware bag itself. Thumb lock will go in the top receiving hole.
And these here are going to be your adjustment cap covers. These are going to cover the adjustment screws in the door panels. There's going to be 2 holes in each panel. You're going to want to put these in, just kind of plugs them from any weathering, bugs, things like that. They just snap right in there all on their own like so.
We are going to install the come-alongs, also known as bumpers in some part of the industry, but these are come-alongs, and they move each consecutive panel against each other, so you can push the number 1 panel and open, or push the number 4 panel and push all the panels open. So I'm going to show a procedure. They come with stainless steel screws like this. We're, just for ease of installation, we have switched to a self-tapper 316 stainless. So we're going to put the panels together about 1 inch apart. So we'll move all these panels down, and we'll actually get them to about 1 inch apart here. And I'll redo them from one side. That's what I'll do. Okay. There we go. They're all set the same. And so when you're pushing open the number 4 panel, it needs to make contact with the number 3 with the 2, number 2 with the 1, and that'll push back and forth and let the panels open. So you have to make great care to put these high enough up. The glazing channel is in this area, so if you were to put this down low, it would go into the glass. So what I like to do is put them right below the interlock cup. So I'll set it here, here, and here. And the reason for the minimum spacing of 1 inch is for your finger pull, so that you don't crush your fingers in between the handle and the next panel. And repeat the process here and here. This is the fixed panel bracket. And this is the fixed panel bracket cover. It snaps over the last extrusion, putting a weather stripping next to the panel. Note, do not fill this track liner in place as it will make this track very tight and very difficult to get this off. I fooled the weather stripping underneath. Slide it into the opening. Same thing. This is the installation of the optional sill riser. This one is 3.5 inches. We're going to caulk it inside of the channel to help it adhere to the track and to promote waterproofing. This is normally used in a condition where there may be exposure to weather.